Yes. So in previous lecture we have seen the details about the communication network layer, and we have seen the access network sublayer, then the network transport sublayer, and the IoT network management sublayer. And here the thing that you must have to understand is nothing but the underlying technology that is going to be used to transfer the data, and based on so you must have to select the technique to transfer the data based on your application. Okay, so you have to consider the factor like power, bandwidth, okay, and the range of a transmission. Okay, so based on that we're having the different access, so we're having the different protocol to transmit the data. If you want to transmit the data with the very short range, then you can use the NFC as well as the EMP. uh, so that will work for the what we can say, for the range of less than 10 centimeter. Okay, so greater to that we can have the Bluetooth, then Zigbee, then wireless HART. Okay, and at last we are having the IEEE 802.11 ABG and SCAF, that is nothing but the Wi-Fi. Okay, so that's having the limited range up to 5 kilometer. Okay, and again if you want the greater range, then you can go for the Ethernet also. No problem. Okay, or you can use the cellular data also by using the so okay. You can use the cellular data, that is what the 2G, 3G, 4G technique for the transmission of the packets itself, and that can have the range of less than 100 kilometer, or if it is connected to the network, then we don't have the issue of a range over there. Okay, so for that purpose we can have the wireless personal area network, wireless home area network, wireless field area network, wireless local area network, wireless neighborhood area network, then wireless wide area network, as well as LPW, that is low power wide area. Okay, low power wide area, because see as we are using the IoT devices, they were having the limitation of energy. Okay, they are having the limitation of the energy, so that's why whatever the network that has been designed by the IoT devices are constrained, so they are having the limitation. Okay, they are related to the energy itself. So you must have to use the technique that must utilize the low or less energy for the transmission of the data itself. Okay, we have seen what actually the gateway and the backhaul sub layer. So this is commonly used to connect with the cloud, or commonly used to connect with the other network itself. Okay, then the network transport sub layer. Okay, I think so. This thing we have to cover. Okay, so network transport sub layer. So this network transport sublayer consists of the topology for the connection, how the devices are going to be placed. Okay, again as we are considering the things, we have seen the different types of things, whether it is the mobile or whether it is the static. Okay, by considering all these parameter, okay, by considering all these parameter, we must have to show the arrangement of the devices or the nodes or the sensor inside of a network by using the topology. Commonly if you just go for the computer network, we can have the bus topology, ring topology, star topology, mesh topology. But in the IoT, commonly in the most time we can use the star topology or the mesh topology. The mesh topology, why the mesh topology is most commonly used? Because the devices are connected by using the वायरलेस मीडियम. ओके, तो वायर हर बार इंस्टॉल करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, सारे के सारे डिवाइसेस अगर कनेक्ट रहेंगे आपके, सो वी कैन से दैट इट इज़ द मेश टोपोलॉजी. और समटाइम्स इफ द नोड्स आर जस्ट सेंडिंग द डेटा टू the specific node inside of a network, so they then we can say that it is the star topology. Okay, so what happens in the, you must know what actually there in the mesh topology. So let's suppose if I'm having this 4 nodes, okay, 4 nodes available with me, and these nodes are connected directly to each other for the connection purpose. अभी यह यहाँ पे तो वायर लग रहा है, we are using the wireless. Okay, so this is the we can say the wave that is going to be used. So ऐसे अगर connection रहेगा, so this the single node present in the network is connected to the all other nodes directly. Okay, and let's suppose again you are having the 4 nodes in the network. Okay, and all these nodes are sending the data to only one node. All these nodes are sending the data to the only one node. So this is an example of a mesh topology, and this is an example of a star topology. Okay, so again they were having their own advantages as well as the disadvantages. For example, if in the star topology, if this node fails to connect inside of a network, or this node is down for some time, so at that time the whole network collapse. But that is not the case with the mesh topology. Okay, so if this particular node fails from the network, okay, so the only the data that has been generated by this node is not going to be shared with any other node, but the networks remain same by considering this much by considering this much part as an again another network. Okay, so that is what the advantage of a mesh topology. Again, this network transport sublayer consists of the communication structure. Okay, how you are just going to pass the data, whether the data is going to be passed by using peer-to-peer technique, by using point-to-point technique, by using point-to-multi-point technique, unicast as well as the multicast. Now, peer-to-peer and point-to-points are same. Peer-to-peer means what? You are just sending the data from one device to the another device of same type. Point-to-point is again the same, but it is the terminology that is going to be useful for the sensor. Okay, because these are the low-end devices, so that's why if the sensor is sending the data from one sensor to the another or intermediate sensor, then that type of communication is known as a point to point communication. Okay, and in a computer in a computer networking, right, in कंप्यूटर नेटवर्किंग या इंटरनेट के अंदर एक पीसी से दूसरे पीसी को अगर आप डेटा सेंड करें, दैट इज नॉट अ पीयर टू पीयर, as it is as the sensors are the low end devices. Okay, they don't have any kind of processing unit available over there. They only are able to transfer the data from one node to another node. So at that time the communication structure is nothing but point to point. So if the single node is going to transfer the data with the multiple sensor, then it is called as a point to multi-point communication structure. So this will send the data, or a single sensor is responsible for sending the data to the multiple sensor. And yes, the unicast, a single sensor is going to send the data into the single direction to the another sensor. This is nearly equal to a point to point. And multicast is nothing but many what we can say, the many sensors are going to transmit the data to the multiple sensor. Okay, so what actually the difference between the point to multi-point and the multicast? Here the sender is a single and receivers are the multiple, while as in the multicast, okay, so senders are multiple as well as the receivers are also a multiple. Okay. So the network transport layer uses the concept of internet protocol, IP, right? If you just go for the layer architecture, just wait for a minute. त्याच्यात आवाज आहे ना वेगळा. स्विच इन्स्टन्स. Okay, am I audible? Yes. So if you just go for the TCP IP, okay. So in the network, in the transport layer, we can in the network layer we can have the IP address utilization for the sending of the packages, and it uses the IPv4 as well as IPv6, IPv4 as well as IPv6. Okay, but if you just see the structure of IPv4 and IPv6, the size of that packet is very large. Okay, as the size of packet is very large, it requires a large amount of energy to transmit that package inside of a network. But our whatever the devices that we are using are having a very low energy, so we must have to do some kind of a changes that reduces the size of the packets, and that only try to send the actual data. Okay, अगर अगेन फिर से IPv6 का हेडर देखो या फिर IPv4 का हेडर देखो, उधर IPv6 का एड्रेस ही अगर देखा आपने 40 कितना है वो 64 bit longs addresses are there, I think so. Okay, so you must have to do some customization over there. Okay, or not actually we, so already the customization to the IPv6 has been done, and for the IoT we are having the new protocol, that is 6LoWPAN. Okay, so this protocol is going to be used in replace with the IPv6, and if you just consider the security issue, so the security is going to be provided by using the TLS SSL and DTLS. Okay, so in the transport layer we can have the two different protocol, that is the TCP as well as the UDP. If you just go for the TCP, there is transmission control protocol, which is the connection oriented protocol. So in order to provide the security to the data, okay, so you must have to use the TLS, transport layer security secure socket layer, SSL. And if you are just using the UDP for the communication purpose or the data transmission, you must have to go for the DTLS. Okay, so if just consider the example of a load balancing that happens in the grid. Okay, so that is done in the smart cities. Okay, by using the distribution automation, Is anyone mic is on? Yes. So now consider that let's suppose an example of air condition. Okay, now consider you are living in the smart cities. Okay, living in the smart cities, so we're having the houses like this. All the houses are the smart one. Okay, all the houses are the smart one, and the energy supply, that is what the electricity as well as the water supply is again provided by the smart devices. So simply we can say we can have the electric grid available to provide the energy. Okay, so that energy will provide to this particular house, to this house, as well as to this house, as well as to this house also. Okay, now considering that you want to flow the fresh air in the AC. Okay, fresh air in the AC, so you can just manage, or this the electric grid can manage the flow of fresh air at the same time in all the houses. But if I just send the fresh air, ओके, फ्रेश एयर का मतलब एयर पास हो रही है ऐसा कंसिडर करके चलो, फैन ऑटोमेटिकली ऑन करना है उनका बेस ऑन द ह्यूमिडिटी रीडिंग, ओके। सो ये फ्रेश एयर अगर मैं एट ए टाइम सारे घर को दे रहा हूँ, तो इसका मतलब वहाँ पे एनर्जी कंजम्पशन में पीक आ जाएगा, एनर्जी कंजम्पशन के अंदर peak आ जाएगा, because at the same time I am using the energy for AC1, AC2, AC3 as well as the AC4. So instead of doing this, what the smart grid will do, so it will start the flow of a fan for the AC1 for 5 minutes. After that it will schedule, after the execution of the fan for the AC1 for the 5 minutes, then it will start the fan of AC2 for the 5 minutes, again for the 5 minutes for the AC3, and again for the 5 minutes for the AC3 sorry AC4, and राउंड रॉबिन फैशन में वो चलता जाएगा, फिर से 1 नंबर पे, 2 नंबर पे, 3 नंबर पे. नाउ व्हाट हैपन्स, सो इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस पीक आई कैन हैव द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एनर्जी कंजम्पशन, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एनर्जी कंजम्पशन. समझ में आता है why the distribution automation is going to be useful for the load balancing. ओके दूसरा भी एक एग्जांपल ले सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ़ यू वांट टू स्टार्ट द वॉशिंग मशीन, सो वॉशिंग मशीन भी सबके एट अ सेम टाइम स्टार्ट नहीं करना है आपको. ओके सो यू ओनली द थिंग दैट यू मस्ट हैव टू डू इज दैट जस्ट इंसर्ट वाटर, अ पाउडर एंड द क्लोथ. ओके नाउ इट्स अ वर्किंग ऑफ दैट ग्रिड टू switch on or off the washing machine, and again it will distribute the load, okay, as per the requirement. एकदम से पीक आ गया तो लोड आ जाएगा ग्रिड के ऊपर. so what the grid will do, so it will just handle the washing machine once at a time, once at a time, once at a time. Same can be done for the refrigerator also. If you want to increase or decrease the cooling rate of a what we can say the refrigerator. Okay, so in order to handle the HVAC system, okay, HVAC system in the smart manner, the smart grid is going to be used the distribution automation. So that results into the load balancing, that results into the load balancing. तो पावर कट ऑफ नहीं होगा ऑटोमेटिकली, यानी ज़्यादा लोड आ गया तो उसके ऊपर फ्लक्चुएट हो सकता है, पावर कट हो सकता है. सो दैट कैन बी अवॉइडेड बाय यूजिंग द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑटोमेशन. ओके then the next one is nothing but the IoT network management sublayer. Again it is the part of our second layer itself, and that going to use the WebSocket as well as the MQTT protocol instead of a HTTP. So again if you just consider the TCP/IP module, we are having the HTTP as an application layer protocol which is going to be used, or which is going to be which is going to be used for the communication from application level to the application level, from one system to the another system. Again the same issue, the header format is there. So instead of using the HTTP for the IoT network, we are going to use the WebSocket as well as the MQTT. Again WebSocket having some problem. Okay, WebSocket having some limitation. That limitations are again that limitation is related to the energy consumption again, and this limitation is avoided by using the constraint application protocol, COAP. Okay, so that removes the limitation of the WebSocket related to the energy consumption. That the COAP tries as again it is constraint, limited. Okay, it is the limited application protocol. So less energy is going to be consumed if you are just using the constraint application protocol instead of a WebSocket protocol. Then we can have the message queue telemetry protocol, MQTT, which is again another option to the HTTP itself. Okay, so this MQTT is the publish subscribe broker based architecture. Publish subscribe broker based architecture means what? In the MQTT protocol we are having the publisher, we are having the subscriber, and intermediate to that we are having the broker. So whatever the sensor that are present inside of a network, okay, so let's suppose these are nothing but the sensor installed inside of a network. All these sensors are going to send their data to the broker itself, to the broker itself. So this is the broker. The working of this broker is nothing but collection of a data from the different sensor, and whatever the data that is available over here, and that can be utilized by the different user. So this is user 1, or we can say, instead of a user 1, subscriber 1, subscriber 2, subscriber 3, right? So the different sensor inside of a network is set to the MQTT publisher, because they are going to publish the data, they are going to publish the information to the broker. Application that wants to receive, okay, the information can be set as an MQTT subscriber. So this user is going to access the data by using some kind of application. So that user is nothing but the subscriber to that data, and any intermediate system can be set as a broker, which is responsible for sending the data based on the subscription of this subscriber, कि उसने क्या सब्सक्राइब किया है. Let's suppose this is the sensor which is going to monitor the temperature of something, okay, temperature. Then this will monitor the humidity, okay, and another temperature is another sensor is there that is going to monitor the level of CO2. Okay, so this subscriber अभी क्या करेगा? This subscriber will subscribe with this broker that I require only the temperature and the humidity. This subscriber will subscribe to the humidity as well as a CO2 level, and this subscriber can subscribe to all temperature, humidity and CO2, right? So based on this subscription, now it's the responsibility of this broker to transmit the data. So for this subscriber 1, this broker will transmit only the temperature and humidity. For the subscriber 2, it will transmit the humidity and CO2, and for the subscriber 3, it will transmit the temperature, humidity as well as the CO2 reading, okay, that has been read by the this publisher, that are nothing but the different sensor installed inside of a network. Now only the thing that you must have to keep in mind that your broker is always open, because it always receives the data from the different sensors which are available inside of a network itself. Okay, okay, just wait for 5 minutes. राधिका पानी दे ना मला. मम्मी होती आली इकडं. मटर नाही, आलूच फक्त. मटर पण घ्यायचं, भिजवून द्यायचं, मग त्याला शिजतात का भाजी शिजत नसते, त्याच्यात काय कचरा आणतो आता उठली तर काही काम नाही त्याचं. काही गरज नाही, येईल नसतं किती वाजता खेळायचा बारा. ठीक आहे, तू आलू चिरून ठेव. आता टमाटो टाकायचं का? 2 कांदे असं काय नाही. 2 कांदे 1 टोमॅटो. आलू किती जण आहेत आता भाजीत? त्याला एवढी मोठी करायची. 3 आलू. केवढे आहेत आलू? पाय मी चहा पिईल ना आता. बघू म्हणजे पहिले भाजी करू आपण जर लगेच. Okay. Here we are. Yes. This MQTT is the publish subscribe broker based architecture, and we have seen how this broker is responsible for transmitting the data that has been received by the different sensors which are present inside of a network. So we have seen that yes. So we have seen that only the thing that we must have to consider is nothing but this broker is always open, because they have to listen the uh, data that has been received by the different what we can say the sensor which are present inside of a network. Okay, just wait. Yes. So this is all about the layer 2. Okay. And in the layer 3 we're having the application and analytics layer. So where we're having the way of a data processing based on the reception of data from the different sensor. We can have the different categories like the analytics versus the control application. So and in the analytics application you have to get all the data. Okay. Then compile all the data, do the pre-processing. Okay, and based on the data available after pre-processing you must have to make some decision. That is what the analytics application. Okay, second one is nothing but the control application. Again, after reception of a data from the what we can say the different sensor. Okay, so based on the condition or based on the data that has been received and the threshold that you have applied, you must have to do some action. So that is what the control application. So analytics application का example अगर आप consider करोगे, so that is going to be useful in the smart grid, where you have to do some analytics when you are going to switch on the air condition, when you are going to switch on the flow of air condition, etc, etc. Okay, and if you just go for the control application, let's suppose the what we can say there is a no sunlight, you must have to switch on the light. Okay, or we can say if the temperature ultimately increases or it is greater than 27, then you must have to switch on the fan. The next one is nothing but again data analytics versus the network analytics. Data analytics, same analytics application itself. So here we are just doing the study of a data, what kind of a data is generated, what type of a data is generated, then what actually the use of that data, and based on the collection of a data, again pre-processing, you must have to do some analysis over there. Or second is nothing but the network analysis, where we are actually dealing about the loss of a data. Okay, यानी network की study कर रहे हो वहाँ पे आप, just you are doing the network study, so you are just checking whether just you are checking the stability of a network, whether the network is stable or not. Again, what actually the rate of data transmission inside of a network, what kind of sensors are going to be used, what are the different gateways, whether you are using the edge computing. So if you are using the edge computing inside of that, so what actually the speed or speed of pre-processing or processing of a data inside of that network. Okay, is there any loss, whether that network is a lossy or lossless, such kind of a study will be done inside of a network analysis. Again, the data analytics versus the business benefit. The again the study of a data can be result into the advantage inside of a business. So market strategy के लिए use करना है. So mostly if you just go for the share markets, we can have the lots and lots of data generated per unit time. Okay, so that data can be analyzed and can be used to check whether you have to purchase the particular share or not. Okay, so such kind of or business benefits के लिए कुछ अगर आप data analytics कर रहे हो, so these applications are categorized into the data analytics versus the business benefits. And last one, smart services. So smart services का example कौन सा भी आप ले सकते हो, no issue. So in the smart services you must have to keep in mind that we are trying to convert the unconnected devices to connect to the network. ओके, तो ऐसे टाइप के सर्विसेज जो रहेंगे, भले वो डिवाइसेस मैकेनिकल रहने दो, भले वो डिवाइसेस इलेक्ट्रिकल रहने दो, उसको हम नेटवर्क के साथ में कनेक्ट करके ऑटोमेटिकली अगर कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, so that type of a services is nothing but the smart services. Okay, or even though the IoT services provided and utilized by the different user can be considered as a smart services. So this is the layer 3, that is the application and the analytics layer. If you just go for the second stack for the simplified IoT network, the second stack is nothing but the IoT data management and compute stack. Okay, so this is what the diagram for, अभी तक आपका क्या हुआ मैं बता रहा हूँ. दिस इज वॉट द डायग्राम फॉर द सिंप्लीफाइड IoT नेटवर्क. अभी तक हमने देखा ये खाली. ओके, so we can have the thing, sensor and actuator, communication network में फिर से 4 subtypes है, and at last we are having the layer 3, that is nothing but the application. Okay, so अभी दूसरा जो part है simplified IoT architecture का, that is the IoT data management and the compute stack, and basically it will consist of edge computing, fog computing and cloud computing. That denotes where you are just pre-processing or processing where you are just doing the pre-processing or processing of a data, at what level, whether you are just processing the data and calculating the result within the network, then it is the edge computing. Okay, within the internet, or we can say intermediate to the network and the internet, then it is the fog, and in the internet then it is the cloud. Okay, सिंपली द क्लाइंट सर्वर आर्किटेक्चर, अगर क्लाइंट साइड पे प्रोसेसिंग हो रहा है तो वो एज कंप्यूटिंग है, विद इन क्लाइंट एंड सर्वर हो रहा है तो वो फॉग कंप्यूटिंग है, और सर्वर साइड पे हो रहा है तो दैट इज़ द क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग. ओके, सो the another part of the simplified IoT architecture is IoT data management and compute stack. So why we require the data management as well as the computation of the data in the IoT, because the large amount of data is going to be generated by the various sensors connecting the network. Okay, and as the number of sensors are there, they are responsible for generating of a large amount of data, and as a result of which we require to make the network more efficient. More efficient इसका मतलब क्या है? लेस टाइम में प्रोसेसिंग होना चाहिए, लेस टाइम में एनालिटिक्स होना चाहिए, लेस टाइम में रिजल्ट जनरेट होना चाहिए, इवन दो द वॉल्यूम ऑफ ए डेटा इज़ वेरी लार्ज. So in order to provide the efficiency, to provide the efficient IoT networks, we have to consider the different characteristics, like you must have to do the minimization inside of a latency, you know, that is nothing but the time delay. So latency can be considered as a total round trip time where you are sending the data and like this. So this is the node and this is one more node, you are sending the data. Total round trip time ये ऐसा हो जाएगा, ये जाने का टाइम और ये आने का टाइम. So T1 and T2, total round trip time is equal to T1 plus T2. So you must have to reduce this time required to transmit the data and getting the result. Okay, सो टोटल लेटेंसी कैसे होता है कि यहाँ पे ट्रांसमिशन डिले कितना है, देन प्रोसेसिंग डिले कितना है, देन प्रोपोगेशन डिले कितना है. सो लेटेंसी कैन बी कैलकुलेटेड. लेटेंसी इज इक्वल टू ट्रांसमिशन डिले. ये हो गया होगा आपको मेरे ख्याल से कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क में अंदर. ट्रांसमिशन डिले प्लस प्रोपोगेशन डिले, प्रोपोगेशन डिले प्लस प्रोसेसिंग. ओके, और इसको मल्टीप्लाई किया जाता है 2 से. ये खाली ट्रांसमिशन डिले एज वेल एज द प्रोपोगेशन डिले. ओके, तो इसको मल्टीप्लाई किया जाएगा 2 से, बिकॉज यू हैव टू कंसीडर द ट्रांसमिशन डिले एज वेल एज द प्रोपोगेशन डिले एट द by these 2 nodes. Okay, and the processing delay will happen only at this node. Let's suppose if you want to do the calculation like what actually 2 plus 2 is. Okay, 2 plus 2 कितने होते हैं ये कैलकुलेशन आपको करना है, एंड द कैलकुलेटर इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द सर्वर. तो अभी ये डेटा जो है 2 plus 2 यू मस्ट हैव टू सेंड फ्रॉम node 1 to node 2, right? Node 1 to node 2. Okay, so in order to send the data from node 1 to node 2, it requires the transmission time as well as the propagation time. Okay, transmission time is what? Transmission time is nothing but वो पैकेट तैयार करने के लिए कितना टाइम लग रहा है आपको वो, और प्रोपोगेशन डिले वो पैकेट नोड 1 से नोड 2 को जाने के लिए कितना टाइम लग रहा है वो. एंड देन here on the node 2 we are just doing the processing. That is what actually the 2 plus 2 is. This will calculate the result. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and this 4 will be sent back to the N1 again. So again for sending this 4 we require the transmission delay as well as the propagation delay. So at this time we don't require the processing. So the transmission delay and propagation delay will be multiplied by 2. ये छोड़ दो कैलकुलेशन, अगर समझ में भी नहीं आता है आपको. So only the thing is that when if you want to make a IoT network efficient, so you must have to minimize the latency. That is what the time required to transmit the data as well as receive the data. Then conserving the network bandwidth, so you must have to use the different what we can say different techniques. Okay, modulation technique for conserving the network bandwidth. कि एक सिंगल चैनल यूज़ करके मल्टीपल डेटा आपको सेंड करना आना चाहिए. दैट विल हैपन बाय यूजिंग द डिफरेंट मॉड्यूलेशन टेक्निक. एंड यू मस्ट हैव टू इंक्रीज द लोकल इफिशियंसी. लोकल इफिशियंसी का मतलब लोकली कुछ ऐसे नोड आपको इंस्टॉल करने हैं दैट आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर प्री प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ अ डेटा. इफ़ द डेटा इज़ ऑलरेडी प्री प्रोसेस, ओके, इफ़ द डेटा इज़ ऑलरेडी प्री प्रोसेस, तो सामने अगर वो जा रहा है डेटा तो उसका कैलकुलेशन बहुत फास्ट होता है. और अगर आप वैसे ही जैसे डेटा आपको आ रहा है वैसे आपने असेंबल किया वही आप सामने भेज रहे हो, सो दिस इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू द सर्वर टू ऑर्गेनाइज ऑल द डेटा, टू एनालाइज द डेटा एंड देन मेक द रिजल्ट. सो दैट विल इंक्रीज द यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ सर्वर टाइम. अगर वो सर्वर टाइम इधर ज़्यादा जा रहा है तो दूसरे रिक्वेस्ट आपके हैंडल नहीं होंगे, एंड अगेन वी आर गेटिंग अ डिले इन द रिजल्ट itself. Okay, so in order to make the IoT network efficient, okay, so you must have to do the things like minimization of latency, conserving the network bandwidth, and increasing the local efficiency. Okay, so inside of the IoT data management and compute stack we can have the 3 different types of computing. That is cloud computing, edge computing, fog computing, and the edge computing. So this is a simple diagram for the cloud computing over there. So this is the computerized diagram. Okay, so this is the node 1, node 2 that can be considered as an endpoints. Okay, so instead of this one we can just consider the sensor 1, sensor 2, sensor 3, sensor 4, actuator 1, actuator 2, actuator 3, actuator 4. So what they will do, they will just send the data to the core network, right? इधर से डेटा, इधर से डेटा, इधर से डेटा जा रहा है, इधर से डेटा जा रहा है. ऑल द डेटा विल बी सेंड टू द डेटा सेंसर और द क्लाउड. ओके, इधर किधर भी कैलकुलेशन नहीं हो रहा, डायरेक्ट डेटा जो जनरेट हो रहा है वो आप सेंड कर रहे हो. दैट विल दैट थिंग विल हैपन इनसाइड ऑफ ए cloud computing. The processing of the data will happen at the cloud end, at the cloud end. Okay, but if you just go for the fog computing, so the IoT fog computing, we are having the smart objects. Okay, so these smart objects are nothing but the embedded system and the sensor that's having the low power as well as the low bandwidth. So they are just doing what, the sensing, control as well as the correlation. So smart object will say just senses the data. That data will be sent to the fog layer. अब fog layer के अंदर fog device रहेंगे. So this device, okay, ये मल्टी सर्वर एज मल्टी सर्विस एज कंसिडर मत करो अभी, फिलहाल हम क्या करेंगे, ये इंटरमीडिएट है आपके क्लाउड के अंदर और स्मार्ट ऑब्जेक्ट के अंदर. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट द इंटरमीडिएट थिंग. सो दिस फॉग लेयर इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर प्री प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ अ डेटा, and sometimes it can also be responsible for the generation of the result. ओके, अब ये अगर रिज़ल्ट जनरेट कर रहा है तो यहाँ पे डिस्टेंस चेक करो कि डेटा सेंड हो रहा है और रिज़ल्ट प्रोसेस हो रहा है. तो इसका मतलब यहाँ पे राउंड ट्रिप टाइम जो है वो कम है कंपैरेटिवली टू दिस वन. ओके, और वी कैन से द क्लाउड काइंड ऑफ ए नेटवर्क, यहाँ पे देखो राउंड ट्रिप टाइम ज़्यादा लगने वाला है आपको. यहाँ से डेटा जाएगा और फिर से प्रोसेस होकर डेटा आएगा. सो द मिनिमाइजिंग ऑफ अ लेटेंसी विल नॉट हैपन्स इनसाइड ऑफ क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग. ओके, as well as the third option, that is what, increasing the local efficiency, that also not happens inside of a cloud computing, because the data processing will be done at the cloud side, not on the end side or at the core network. But if you just go for the fog computing, the pre-processing as well as some result calculation will happen into the fog layer. And in advance to that again, yes, so if you just go for the edge computing, we're having the cloud and data sensor where the data is going to be stored, but at the edge level means what, this is the single network. Okay, and here we can have the multiple sensor, ये सारे सेंसर है, डेटा जनरेट कर रहे हैं. ओके, स्मार्ट ग्रिड का एग्जांपल है, स्मार्ट कार का है, स्मार्ट ट्रैकिंग सिस्टम है, सोलर थिंग्स है, देन ऑटोमेटिक वाटर सप्लाई मैनेजमेंट इज देयर. ओके, सो the data, whatever the data that has been generated will be sent to the real time data processing unit. Okay, and this real time data processing unit performs some basic analytics. Okay, so basic analytics का मतलब क्या है कि कुछ रिजल्ट यहाँ पे जनरेट हो रहे हैं. सो एज द रिजल्ट्स आर लोकली अवेलेबल, तो आपको वो आपका जो टोटल डिले है वो अल्टीमेटली कम हो जाएगा, बिकॉज द थिंग्स आर लोकली अवेलेबल. ओके, अगेन एट द एज लेवल यू कैन जस्ट परफॉर्म द ऑपरेशन लाइक द डेटा कैशिंग, बफरिंग एज वेल एज द ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. so as you are just performing the data caching or buffering, so what happens, the query processing will happen at this level only, because you are having the cache available with you, and here you are just doing the machine to machine communication directly. Okay, or we can say simply the IoT enabled device to IoT enabled device communication will happen inside of a edge computing. So this edge computing will follow these are all the things. It is minimizing the latency, it conserves the network bandwidth, as well as it increases the local efficiency, Okay, समझ में आता है. So that is what the difference between the edge computing, fog computing, as well as the cloud computing. Now if you just measure the number of devices that you are going to use in the edge computing, so here you can just see, so these are nothing but the connected devices, or we can say the smart objects which are present inside of a network. So they are present at the edge level, and if you just calculate the amount of devices available, so we are having the billions of devices available at the edge level. Processing of the data will also happen at the edge level itself. Okay, and अगर वो intermediate level पे हो रहा है, that is nothing but the fog nodes are available, so they are nothing but simple data sensor or the processing unit which are responsible for getting the data from these devices and process that data and make some kind of a analysis over there. And again, if you just go for the count of fog nodes, so they are comparatively less with the edge devices and present in terms of a millions. And if you just go for the cloud or the data sensor, so we are having a very limited cloud available with us and in the range of 1,000 itself. Okay, so this is how the number of devices available inside of what the edge, fog as well as the cloud. Okay, so अभी अगर आपको जनरल कंपैरिजन करना है, इफ़ यू वांट टू डू जस्ट जनरल कंपैरिजन, सो आपका जो ब्राउज़र है ऐसे कंसिडर करके चलो, ब्राउज़र है, ब्राउज़र के अंदर, ओके, सो लेट्स सपोज दिस इज़ द ब्राउज़र अवेलेबल विथ यू, आप बैठे हो ब्राउज़र के अंदर, आपका ब्राउज़र जो है वो कैश मेमोरी अवेलेबल कर रहा है, कैश स्टोर कर रहा है। ओके, तो एक इंटरमीडिएट डिवाइस हम एक कंसिडर करेंगे यहाँ पे, और यहाँ पे है सर्वर। ओके, नाउ सी, आपको कैश अवेलेबल है, बराबर है। अगर मैंने यहाँ पे टाइप किया सर, यानी मैंने ब्राउज़र ओपन किया और वहाँ पे टाइप किया http://google.co.in और google.com, सो दिस विल कैच द पेज फ्रॉम द memory available with this system, right? Okay, only for understanding I am just giving this example. Okay, so this will just get the page from the cache memory available with this. So only the thing is that the data must be present inside of a cache memory, so this will load the page from the cache itself. So at that time this will not send any kind of a request to the intermediate devices. इसको भी रिक्वेस्ट सेंड करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, इधर भी रिक्वेस्ट सेंड करने की ज़रूरत नहीं. Okay, sometimes what happens, your cache may be full. Okay, so the data will be stored or the cache will be managed on the intermediate node. Okay, so these are nothing but, again we can say, the router which are available, or we can say the gateway which are available intermediate to your network to the other network where the server is present. Okay, so again you are just utilizing the cache of what we can say this device or the data stored on this device. So at that time you are just utilizing the concept of what, fog computing. यानी पहले कैश में मेरे पास में अवेलेबल था तो वो था आपका एज लेवल कैलकुलेशन. ओके, दूसरे बार में वो मेरा अवेलेबल है यहाँ पे, सो आई एम जस्ट यूजिंग द फॉग कंप्यूटिंग. और यहाँ पे भी अवेलेबल अगर नहीं रहेगा, एंड इफ़ यू डायरेक्टली कम्युनिकेटिंग विद द सर्वर, देन इट इज सिंपली द क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग. ओके, so this is what the difference between the edge, fog as well as the cloud computing. अभी mostly if you just go for the edge computing, the calculation of processing of the data as well as the analysis of the data and result calculation will perform within the same network, that is the edge computing. अगर वो intermediate हो रहा है किसी दूसरे node के ऊपर, तो then that is the fog computing, and if it is done on the server side, so then it is nothing but the cloud computing. Based on all these things, we are having the standard definition or more more formal definition for the IoT. That is nothing but a dynamic global network infrastructure with the self-configuring capabilities based on the standard and interoperable communication protocol, where the physical and virtual things have the identities, physical attributes, and use the intelligent surfaces, and are seamlessly integrated into the information network that communicate the data with the user as well as the environment. Okay, ये है स्टैंडर्ड डेफिनेशन IoT के लिए. हमने जो देखी थी वो देखो डेफिनेशन बहुत इजी वे में थी, तो पहले मैंने वो आपको डेफिनेशन वो समझा के दिया था. सो व्हाट एक्चुअली द definition. So here we have seen a short definition. The Internet of Things is the network of physical objects or the thing embedded with the electronic software, sensor and network connectivity which enable this object to call and to collect and exchange the data. Okay, so but if you just go for the formal definition of the IoT, so this formal definition says that the Internet of Thing IoT is nothing but a डायनामिक ग्लोबल नेटवर्क. डायनामिक इसलिए बोला है कि yes, so whatever the words that are present in the different colors are nothing but the keyword for the definition. So the IoT can be called as a dynamic global network because the number of nodes currently present in a network may changes after some times. Okay, so we're having the addition as well as the deletion of the sensor inside of a network. That's why it is known as a dynamic network. Global, which is globally available, यानी connected है. That's why it is dynamic global network infrastructure with the self configuring capability. यानी कुछ ना कुछ तो भी वो ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. लेट सपोज डेटा सेंस करना हो या फिर डेटा ट्रांसमिट करना हो. So that will be happen by using some standard as well as interoperable communication protocol. अभी interoperable communication protocol क्यों चाहिए आपको? Because we are having the various kind of devices available inside of a network. Yeah, different type of sensors, actuators, and the competing nodes are available. That's why we require the interoperable communication protocol, where the physical and virtual things, that is nothing but the sensor, that's having their own identities. Okay, क्योंकि उनको यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए कुछ ना कुछ तो भी नंबर दिया रहेगा, जैसे हम आईपी एड्रेसेस यूज़ करते हैं या फिर फिजिकल एड्रेसेस यूज़ करते हैं. Also they are having that sensor that can have the virtual identity, physical attributes, and that uses the intelligent interfaces for the communication purpose and are seamlessly integrated into the information network. यानी वो इंस्टॉल किए गए हैं ऐसे नेटवर्क के अंदर. दैट नेटवर्क इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर कम्युनिकेशन ऑफ ए डेटा विद द यूजर्स एज वेल एज द environment. So this is what the more formal definition for the IoT. So in this way I think so we have completed your unit number 1. Okay, so we'll any queries? Yes.